888-889-5600.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. I'm really interested in that those arrests of Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier. That something related to a sports betting scandal. We got point shaving going on in the NBA. It might actually make the game interesting. But I digress. We have more pressing public policy matters to discuss. As we were talking about a little bit last hour with Chris Botterine of the Liberal Patriot, the politics of the government shutdown. Here's another good indication of the posture of congressional Democrats. Catherine Clark from Massachusetts is the House Minority Whip, and she had this to say about the shutdown as we are in week 3.
And of course, there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously, but it is one of the few leverage times we have.
Leverage times to do what? Not restore funding for NPR and for the study of locusts in Africa? Yeah, compelling stuff. No, they focus, of course, on Obamacare, that, as you recall, our discussion of the No Kings rally weekend pregame, that CNN town hall with Comrade Bernie and AOC. If they don't dig in their heels and demand that Republicans come to heel on this clean CR, then it will be the end of health care in America as we know it. That was the contention.
Middle-class families will be paying $50,000 a year for health care. Anyone think that's sane? It's not. Who can afford that? Republicans are catching on. They're playing a losing hand. They are going to come to the table finally and address the health care crisis that they've created.
The healthcare they've created with Obamacare. Okay. For more on this, speaking of the sanity question, maybe should be asked in the direction of Comrade Bernie. Please be joined by Chris Jacobs, the founder and CEO of Juniper Research Group, which is a consulting firm. Chris Jacobs, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Do we have Chris?
I'm here. Hello?
Oh, there we go. We got you now. Chris, sans coming to the table to deal with Obamacare subsidies. Now, middle-income families will be paying $50,000 a year for health insurance. And if those subsidies aren't extended, not only that, the healthcare system will collapse under its own weight. Cats and dogs will be living together and so forth.
Not true in the slightest. The absolute impact of the enhanced. First of all, I think it's important to tell your listeners that Obamacare remains, for better and for worse. That we're only talking about the expiration of enhanced, quote unquote, temporary subsidies that the Biden administration and Democrats rammed through in 2021. Those will expire at the end of the year. In absolute dollar terms, the premium increases that most families will face will be relatively modest, on the order of $50 to $75, maybe $100 a month. Now, the Democrats are trying to portray this in alarmist terms, shockingly, as you pointed out from the Bernie Sanders quote. But when you think about it, by focusing on the percentage increase, but when you think about it, if your premium goes from out-of-pocket premium goes from $1 a month to $4 a month, your premiums have quadrupled. But in reality, is a $3 a month premium increase that unaffordable for you? No. And so they're playing rhetorical and semantic games by using percentage increases as opposed to the absolute dollar amount to try to scare Congress to passing a $400 billion bailout for the insurance companies.
And so, I mean, give me a, sort of a profile. I know you wrote a piece on this in the Journal, and you talked about this fallacious study they're relying on to argue that premiums will double, and a little bit of the manipulation of words that were used to give the impression that to the average reader that, okay, so I'm paying $500 a month now. I'm going to be paying $1,000 a month if Republicans don't come to the table. That's what they want you to believe. So give me, sort of a reasonable profile of a median sort of, silver plan American, and what's projected to happen if those enhanced subsidies sunset at the end of the year.
Sure. The terminology they're using is premium payments. And they're trying to be clever here, and they're not talking about the total premiums, because even if the enhanced subsidies expire, the federal government will still be paying on average more than 3/4 or nearly 80% of the total premium. So they don't want to focus on the total premium. They only want to focus on premium payments, because in reality, most folks on the exchanges are paying very little. In many cases, they're paying nothing. Over nearly half of enrollees on the exchanges right now pay nothing out of pocket for a, quote, benchmark insurance plan, a benchmark silver plan. Well, that's a problem. That's a bug. That's not a feature.
Yeah.
The Congressional Budget Office and others have talked about the massive amounts of fraud because people pay nothing for coverage. You have no reason to
control costs.
Right. It's just money that gets shoveled to the insurance companies. And in many cases, people don't even know they're being enrolled in this coverage. They're staying in this quote free coverage even after they go onto their employer plan. It's a waste of taxpayer dollars. It is not unreasonable to ask everybody to pay at least something out of pocket for health coverage per month.
And we've talked about this. The enhanced subsidies go from So who is? Will you tell us? I mean, the enhanced subsidies, I understand, go up as high as for people that are close to $500,000 in income. But I don't think that's why they sunsetted them. I'll get to that. But that the cohort that are beneficiaries of the enhanced subsidies, who would be have to pay more if the enhanced subsidies went away. What is that cohort?
You're right that they go all the way up to $500,000. I mean, Bernie Sanders said that $50,000 per year in premiums that you will be paying. Well, if you do the math on that, and I don't know if that person actually exists or Bernie Sanders is just throwing numbers out of his whatever. Mm-hmm. The enhanced subsidies say that no one will pay more than 8.5% of income on out of pocket in premiums. So if you have somebody with a $50,000 a year premium, they will get a subsidy up to $588,000 of income. Now, should we be subsidizing people with $500,000 of income and subsidizing, as Bernie Sanders would say, the 1%? I think most people would say, no, we shouldn't be doing that. Now, that said, most of the folks would still get a subsidy. 93% of enrollees would get a subsidy. Most of these folks are at the poverty level or just above the poverty level. They qualify for the richest subsidies, because the dirty little secret about Obamacare is, and this is why they're trying to create scare tactics over it, most people don't enroll unless you heavily subsidize them. You effectively have to bribe people to sign up for this coverage. And that's the problem. And so a lot of people are paying zero right now, and other people are paying very little. And if they're forced to pay even $100 a month, a lot of families will say, I don't want it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to me to be paying $100 a month for a plan that still has a $6,000 deductible, et cetera, et cetera.
And if the enhanced subsidies went away, just another question on that, what is the threshold at which you would no longer be subsidized? What's the income threshold?
It's 4 times poverty. It's about $120,000 for a family of 4. And that only is people above that will lose any eligibility for subsidy. But that is only about 7% of the total exchange population. So that's 1.5 million to 2 million people nationwide.
And so for the family of 4 making $120,000, that would result in their monthly health care premium going from what today to what tomorrow?
I mean, it obviously varies, but those that small group of individuals, they may pay significantly more because they suddenly lose all eligibility for subsidies. But like I said, it's a small percentage of the total population on the exchanges. And the Urban Institute, which is a leftist think tank, said that the uninsured rate among that population would increase only modestly because those individuals of more affluent means are more likely to have employer coverage and are more likely to have the means to pay for the full premium out of pocket.
Right. Well, right, of course. And so the sunsetting piece of this, too. Of course, Republicans have said, pass the CR, then we'll talk about Obamacare subsidies, because there's a lot of them that are afraid of, taking anybody's subsidies away because of course, you've created a constituency with these enhanced subsidies. And that's, in my view, that's exactly why it was sunsetted for only 2 years. COVID was the opportunity, sunsetted for 2 years. Then in 2 years, we know we've got an issue to try to beat the Republicans about the head and neck with politically. Yeah. And that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, and let's not forget two things here, Dan, that are important to put in context. First of all, the massive amounts of inflation that all this COVID spending created. Okay? This is a massive, the subsidies are a massive inflationary mechanism because they insulate households from premium increases. Insurance companies have no reason not to increase premiums year after year after year because the federal government pays
subsidizing the premiums. Yeah.
Correct. Okay, so it's a one-way ratchet and encourages inflation. The second thing, to this point, Obama in 2008 said that his health care plan would cut premiums for the average family by $2,500 per year. Is that happening for anybody? Okay, we just saw a study yesterday relating to employer-provided insurance. This is not folks who buy the exchanges. This is folks that get their coverage from the employer. That the average plan, the premium for a family plan in employer coverage is $27,000 per year. You can buy a good car for that amount every year. So just think about that. You're going out there and you can buy a good car every year for the amount that we spend on health insurance. This is a massive failure.
Yeah, as predicted by everyone who passed an Econ 101 class 15 years ago. Chris Jacobs, founder and CEO of Juniper Research Group, which is a consulting firm. You can check out his column that we're discussing. Obamacare premiums are doubling, ? Don't believe it, as he was just explaining. Chris, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And Chris joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You know what really keeps me up at night? It's the criminals feel more and more bold. They have no fear of any consequences because there are none. So I did what anyone with a family should do. I called Goldilocks. They're not just some cookie-cutter security company. Goldilocks has been protecting Chicagoland homes and businesses for 4 decades, 40 years. And they actually listen. Their technician comes out to the house. He takes a look at what you need to make your house a smart home with a security system you can monitor from anywhere. It's built specifically for me and my family. Motion sensors, smart locks, cameras, monitoring, all customized. I don't trust anybody in Illinois to protect my family. I do it, and I did it by calling Goldilocks. I trust Goldilocks to keep my house, my property, and my family safe. Tell them Sean Thompson sent you, and Goldilocks will include 3 months free monitoring with any new installation. Call Goldilocks at 708